So the purpose of the trip is to give as much back as we can to the community, specifically more the rural communities where they don't have as much as what the normal larger cities here in Cambodia have. Going out to the villages and going out to the more rural towns where sanitation is a really big problem. They don't have clean water, they don't have running toilets, and a lot of the times they don't even have food.
Sorry, I can't fathom that this is something that we're doing. Do you know what I mean? I think it's an extraordinary thing that we get to do when you get in a place like this and you see what they've got, and these lives just make you realise that you actually had a lot more than you think that you did.
So we're over here doing some projects in the schools.
We've brought over some school supplies, we've brought over some bicycles for the kids who need them because they travel so far to get here every day that it will just make their lives a little bit easier. We're playing games with the kids, working with their English, reading them books, and it's a lot of fun so far.
So this morning we were at Linda's school, which is the exemplar school that Word of Difference and Rotary have been helping out for the last 9 years.
We have been teaching them basic dental hygiene, which is common for us but not as common here. So we've been teaching them to get all the plaque off their mouth and actually getting all the teeth, as not a lot of them know.
We have a dye that we pop in their mouths that shows all of the plaque. And if we can highlight that, we can show them how to brush their teeth properly to prevent that from building up and becoming cavities and needing to get their teeth pulled, which can lead to bone loss in the mouth, which isn't ideal.
It was really overwhelming to see a lot of kids in such a small classroom. I think they have about 40 kids per class, whereas back home we have about 24, 25 in one class, and some people think that's a lot.
Yeah, I feel like if they can't get to school, they've got really no hope of getting out of the poverty. If they can't, a lot of the people have told us that if they can't speak English, they can't get jobs, and that's really what's going to be able to break that cycle, because the families don't have the skills to pass on to the children. So if they can't get to school, it's an endless cycle really if they can't break it.
I reckon my favourite day so far would be when we made the bio water filters. To be able to go to certain rural villages and be able to see that the impact of dirty water and all the E. coli and the bacteria in that water has on the villages, where it creates dysentery, and that malnutrition really goes through the generations.
The work that Water Cambodia do was quite eye-opening, going into people's homes and villages and personally delivering the biosand filters to the people and seeing how grateful they were. The opportunity to do that was incredible, rather than just purchasing it and helping building it, but taking it in, doing that extra step, setting it up, really helped connect and see where the money was going, but also how it's impacting these people's lives.
In the village we are in today, we met a family, and I had a grandma who's lived here her whole life, taking care of her grandkids, and she's gone through her whole life without a toilet. So that's what we're doing today, building a toilet for her, so that it's going to have a really positive impact on her life.
The toilets are really important because there's a lot of open defecation that happens in the villages when they don't have access to them. It causes a lot of problems with people's health and diseases.
And then it contaminates all the soil, so all their clean drinking water is contaminated, and then they're just going to drink that, and they've got nowhere for any drinking water to come from. And it's also quite unsanitary. There's no privacy for any of the females.
So I've never been to Asia, Southeast Asia. I've never been to an Asian temple before, and that was probably one of the most things that I was looking forward to in the religion sense, where I'm excited to see the different faith amongst the locals. They really show passion with the faith that they have and the offerings to the monks, and that was hands down one of probably the best times that I've ever had here.
The other day, so we went to the Apopo rats, which are the demining rats of Cambodia. They demine any of the local area that's got mines in it.
I don't know, they look like possums, to be honest. They don't really look like rats, but I'd be happy to take one home as a pet if they needed. So they're sniffing out the tiny bit of TNT powder and they can find it.
They can do a tennis court within half an hour, and for them to do it with metal detectors, it takes 4 days.
We've also visited ODA, which stands for Opportunities for Development Through Art, going to work with those children, seeing what their schooling is like. We had classrooms for biology, maths. It was completely different. Here, one classroom, outdoor, under a shed, no walls, and it wasn't separated by year levels. It was everyone, 18 to their youngest, all together.
Yeah, it was a pretty surreal experience because the situation that they're in, you don't expect them to be at the level that they are.
I'm so proud of this team. This is by far the best trip I've ever been on and probably ever will be because of the team that we're with. From the Rotary Club, from the VPL, from the camera crew, everyone has come together in incredible harmony.
We've been able to volunteer our time and give resources out, and it's just been an amazing opportunity to work side by side, and they just have such passion for Cambodia, and we're all very lucky to be with them on this trip.
I think I've learned a bit more about perspective. I would definitely say that's something that I would like to implement more when I go back home. Really just thinking about what's actually important, because there is so much more. Yeah, it's really just not getting hung up on the small things.
It's been amazing to watch some of these young adults and their journey throughout the last 2 weeks. Some of them have just stepped forward with this amazing confidence. Others have found their voice. Some have just grown an inch taller just with confidence and their ability to interact, and we've put them in some really interesting situations that they would never get that at home.
We were told by Rotary that these sort of projects can change people's lives, and I've already seen an enormous amount of personal growth in these young adults, and just having a look at those that are less fortunate, a different world to what we're used to in Australia.
Look, I think the main thing I'd like to talk about is the value I see in a program like this for the leadership capabilities of our young people and for the community that it creates. You know, we're engaging with people now that I'm confident our young legatees will stay in touch with through the Rotary program.
It is very reciprocal, and we walk away with so much more than what we brought over here. Yeah, we really do. We are enriched by the experience and the personal growth, you know, that we take back home, those experiences, the changes in ourselves. I like to say we're making better humans by giving people the opportunity to do this type of work and have this very personal experience with another culture. It really is very meaningful.